January nights in Georgia is some of the coldest of the year, and when a young girl disappears into thin air, it surely sends a shiver down your spine. Keeslyn is a beautiful girl, the type you would have noticed and remembered. But no one's seen anything, or if they did, they are not talking. This is Keeslyn's story through the eyes of strangers. Keeslyn Roberts grew up as an only child. She was a very sweet and compassionate girl. She was smart and athletic and is well known in the town she grew up in. She's very outgoing and just an all-American kid. On January 20th, 2020, Keeslyn Roberts' father got a phone call from her probation officer because she had not reported. Keeslyn's dad went to her boyfriend's house to ask him if he had seen her. The boyfriend said no, but the car was up at the Flying J truck stop. Her father goes to the Flying J and finds her car, in which it was locked, but all of her belongings was in there except some clothing and her cell phone. Her father called Gordon County law enforcement. 2 deputies was sent to talk with him, but they told him he would have to go to Murray County to file a missing persons report. Gordon County did not search at that time for Keeslyn. When he finally talked to Murray County law enforcement, her father asked them, do they want to search her car or take fingerprints? But they declined the offer. 5 days later, yes, I said 5 days, a detective finally calls her father. 5 days has went by and no one has been questioned in the area where her car was found. Nothing had been done about Keeslyn's disappearance. She had dropped an acquaintance off at a restaurant for work that night and was supposed to pick him up at 10 o'clock p.m. He could see her car at the Flying J from where he worked, so he called her, and she said she would be back in a few minutes, but never came back to pick him up. This person is saying he has not talked to her since that night. It's just out of the ordinary for Keeslyn not to keep in touch with her parents. They had a close relationship because she is their only child. They were very involved in her life, all of her life. On February 6th, the Gordon County Sheriff's Office issued a press release stating that they had responded to a 911 call about a suspicious female, presumably Keeslyn, at the Flying J on January 18th. Keeslyn had reportedly entered an employees-only kitchen area and entered into an altercation with an employee. She fled before officers arrived, but police found a bag containing Keeslyn's identification, cash, debit card, and phone charger on scene. According to the manager that night at Flying J, her and another manager were outside under the awning in the back on a smoke break. Keeslyn walked up just soaking wet from it raining so badly. She was trying to go in the back way. When the manager told her she wasn't supposed to go in that way, she could go in the other way since it was for employees only. And she would have to go around the front, but she was soaking wet from the rain. She could go in the employee entrance. She said she thought Keeslyn went into the store. After the managers finished smoking, they went back in, and one of the managers thought she seen Keeslyn in the kitchen area of the store. When Keeslyn seen her, she came out. The managers asked her what she was doing in the kitchen since only employees are allowed back there. Keeslyn told her she was looking for a guy that worked there. When the manager found out who she was talking about, she told her that he doesn't work in their store's kitchen, he works in the Denny's kitchen. The Flying J and Denny's are in the same building. After Keeslyn found out he worked in the other kitchen, she turned around and went back out the back way of the building. The manager realized that Keeslyn had left her bag underneath a table in the kitchen, so she grabbed the bag and tried to catch up with her. As the manager got to the door, all she seen was Keeslyn walking away, heading to the back, and it was too dark at the time to see where she went. The manager didn't know what happened, so she called the police to come down. They found Keeslyn's wallet with her license in it, so the police checked everything, and everything checked out. Law enforcement left the bag with the manager in case Keeslyn came back looking for the bag. The week after the missing report was filed, the manager of the Flying J seen Keeslyn's father post about her missing on Facebook and called him. He had law enforcement meet him at Flying J's, and they made copies of everything in her bag and then released it to Keeslyn's father. At this time, the detectives watched the video footage of Keeslyn coming into the store. They also seen that the Flying J does have cameras inside and at the pumps, but there was none that gave a clear picture of the parking lot, unfortunately. About a month and a half later, an employee at the Flying J's contacted Keeslyn's parents to tell them they found some clothes tucked in a bush close to the dumpster at the Flying J truck stop. Her parents drove down to look at the clothes, and it was confirmed by them that the clothes, mainly the shirt, was in fact belonging to their daughter. They called Gordon County law enforcement out to the scene, and they stuck the clothes in a bag and said they could not send them off to the crime lab to be tested because no crime had been committed. 2 days prior to Keeslyn's disappearance, a young man named Caleb Smith disappeared from the very same parking lot. Both Keeslyn's and Caleb's cars were both backed in identically in the back of the Flying J truck stop, where there were no camera footage. Keeslyn's car was only 5 parking spaces away from where Caleb's car was found. 21-year-old Caleb Nathaniel Smith was from Chadsworth and was reported missing and last seen at the same location on January 16, 2020. His belongings, such as his car keys and cell phone, were found in the glove box of his vehicle. His body was found Sunday, February 2, 2020, 17 days after he was reported missing. He was found in a wooded, marshy area in the northwestern part of Gordon County near Sugar Valley, only 5 miles away from the Flying J truck stop. He had no clothes or shoes on that cold January afternoon when he was found. His death was ruled an overdose, but his clothes nor shoes were never found. The only explanation Caleb's mother gets from local law enforcement and detectives is that they are sorry her son had a drug problem and he did this to himself. First off, my question would be, who at the truck stop is kin to someone in law enforcement or the local government? How did a nude man get from his car that was 5 miles from the secluded area where he was found? Keeslyn and Caleb both lived in Murray County, but as far as family knows, the two did not know each other. Keeslyn's father and others searched the area in Sugar Valley when Caleb's body was found, thinking maybe she was out there, but nothing was found. Gordon County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Robert Paris said that there is zero evidence that the cases are related, and Eric Roberts, who said he's been in communication with the Smith family, confirmed that his daughter, Ann Smith, do not appear to have known each other. But let's remember, they did not search for Keeslyn the first 48 hours, which are the crucial hours for any missing persons case. Also, while I'm on this subject, just because they were not friends does not mean they were not acquaintances or have mutual acquaintances, especially someone at that truck stop. This is not a coincidence. Gordon County needs to do their job or hand it over to the GBI. Caleb found dead under suspicious circumstances, but yet calling it an overdose? He could have had drugs in his system when he was murdered. These cops' cop-outs need to be upheld the oath they took when sworn in. Just because someone on drugs dies or is reported missing does not relieve them of their duty to investigate. Caleb's mother had to bury her son in a closed casket without being positively identified by a family member. He had no clothes or shoes on, and it had been 17 days since her son was reported missing. What is wrong with this picture? Keeslyn was last seen on January 18, 2020 at the Flying J truck stop in Resaca, Georgia. Keeslyn's white Toyota Corolla with belongings inside was at the truck stop and found by her family on January 20th, 2020. There has been some false information of dates and other things that have been put out there about Keeslyn. She did not run due to a probation warrant. The warrant was not issued until after she was reported missing, and she was not a hardened criminal. It was only for a minor marijuana possession charge she was on probation for. She would not have left without her car, her money, and other personal items that were left behind. She had no reason to run away. Investigators have stated they have questioned multiple known associates of Keeslyn, including her boyfriend, whom she was living with within the weeks leading up to her disappearance, and the man she told witnesses at Flying J she was there to see moments before she went missing. However, so far, no one suspected of possibly being involved in Keeslyn's disappearance or having direct knowledge about the case is talking. Someone knows who caused Caleb's death, and they know where Keeslyn is. This did not happen in New York City. This is not happening in Los Angeles. This happened in Resaca, Georgia. Both of these young people lived in the surrounding area. Is it possible Keeslyn was abducted or trafficked? Yes, it is very possible. But did Caleb walk 5 miles naked with no shoes on in 30-degree weather at night? I hardly doubt it. They disappeared within 2 days of each other, but local law enforcement undoubtedly don't think this is particular, or they are covering up for someone in backwoods America. Keeslyn is described as 5'6", 125 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. She has a sea turtle tattoo on her right arm and gauged ear piercings. There's an active probation violation warrant out in Whitfield County for Keeslyn that was issued for her arrest after she was reported missing because she did not show up for probation. Keeslyn's family has put up a $10,000 reward. Anyone who has information on Keeslyn or Caleb is asked to call the Murray County Detective Eric White at 706-695-4592. The Gordon County Sheriff's Department at 706-629-1244 or 911, or contact their parents. Our deepest condolences go out to Caleb's mother, April, and his entire family. May true justice prevail for you on your quest of finding out what really happened that cold January night. We also are sending out prayers and strength to Eric and Shannon Roberts and their family. You deserve answers. You deserve to have your beautiful daughter back. May peace be with you all. For further updates on Keeslyn's case, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us on our Facebook page and private group. Remember, some sort of truth remains in a lie. Have a good night.